Hello and welcome to Pisces Moon Astrology. I'm your astrologer, Kate Leonard, and I'm excited to explore the stars with you. Hi everyone! Welcome to the week of July 6th through July 12th. And let me tell you, there is so much going on in the sky this week that honestly, I just can't do it all. So I am hoping for another bonus episode later this week. So stay tuned for that. We are going to be talking about Uranus. Are you waiting for your flying car? I know I am. Or jetpack, something like that. Well, it may be finally coming because Uranus going into Gemini is a 7-year big old giant deal that's going to bring all kinds of innovation and breakthroughs. And, maybe wars and things too. So we'll get into the details in just a minute. I want to thank everybody for the sharing, commenting, all the stuff you did to help out the podcast this week. I had new cities show up in my stats, new countries. Hello to everybody out there in the world. I am so grateful that you're here. That is the coolest thing. You cannot know how that makes me feel. Thank you, thank you. I am truly, truly grateful. And now let's get into this because honestly, there's too much. I don't have time to ramble. So to be very clear, I am talking about Uranus's ingress into Gemini on July 7th. So this is the beginning of a 7-year transit. He is going to retrograde back into Taurus in a bit, but basically think of this as the beginning of 7 years of Uranus in air sign. That's all about change. It's going to be wild. Other things going on this week. On July 6th, we've got Venus sextiling, that's an angle of opportunity, both Saturn and Neptune. I really think this is going to bring examining the structures of your relationships, breaking them down if they're not working, rebuilding, redefining boundaries, things like that. Then on July 7th, same day that Uranus is going into Gemini, Venus is going to trine Pluto. This is the power of love. I don't know what else to say. It's a good angle. Pluto can be difficult, but in that trine, it's really, it's power and love. But remember, Venus is also art and money, creativity. It's all kinds of other things, relationships in general, women, sisters, all kinds of things. And there's going to be some kind of positive power brought to those relationships. All right, then on the 10th, we get the full moon in Capricorn. This is asking us to balance our personal and public needs. Capricorn is really about our public presentation in a way, and Cancer, the opposing sign where the sun will be, is all about our private lives, our emotional lives. And this is a place where we're supposed to find balance between the two. Interesting full moon. Then on the 11th, the sun is going to shine on the north node. And I always call that the north node of destiny. There is going to be some kind of illumination that kind of lights our way so that we're like, yes, I know how to move toward my destiny. So those things are all going on. But let's talk about Uranus. Before we even do that, let's talk about Gemini, okay? Gemini is ruled by Mercury, so it relates, a lot of what we say about Mercury, we say about Gemini because he's the king there, right? It's about communication, socializing, technology, education, travel. So these are the kinds of topics that are going to be up, the kind of broad topics. When Gemini is really highlighted as it's going to be. It's going to have both Venus and Uranus there this week. That's a lot of energy in Gemini. When this happens, we often feel the need to just get out in the world, get out there where the people are, where things are happening. Gemini is often called the social butterfly of the zodiac. So expect to be feeling the call to go out and about, to make contact with people. That may be through social media because Gemini loves technology, but a lot of communication. Also, you may be bitten by the travel bug because Gemini loves travel. On the more problematic side, Gemini can also be really scattered. It's a little bit like a kitten in the garden chasing all the butterflies. I want this one. I want that one. Ooh, look over there. I want this other one, right? So we may be feeling a little bit of that. Mostly we're going to say, cool, this is fun. Let's do it all. Let's chase all the butterflies. But we might get a little burnt out. So just kind of be aware of that. Take breaks. If you need to cancel plans, you've made a bunch of plans, you've got all this energy in Gemini, and there's one day that comes along and you're just like, I can't. I really need to rest. Go ahead and do that. Just communicate to whoever it is. They'll understand. We're all going to be feeling this, all right? So be aware that sort of scattered energy and feeling a little tired as a result of trying to do so much. That's kind of what we're looking at with Gemini. Before we get straight into Uranus, let's talk about Venus. She moved in there on the 4th. So the signs already got this feeling of cooperation and harmony. So all of that social energy, Venus brings a kind of smooth, lovely sort of interaction possibility to it. Does that even make sense? I don't think I made like a rational thought there, but you kind of get what I mean, right? But then Uranus crosses into the sign on the 7th, and now we're getting the shakeup because Uranus is not about smooth harmony, all of that. And when he first crosses in, remember, he's meeting up with Venus right away. So expect that Venus-Uranus in Taurus story that we started last week. Expect there to be a new phase of it, whether for you that was some kind of unusual, unexpected change around money, around love, around art and creativity, whatever it was. Expect that you're now going to want to kind of take it public. Talk about it with people. If it's a lover, you're going to be maybe thinking of introducing them to your friends and family and all of that. Venus story starting in Taurus, where it's very rooted and very earthy, is now wanting to go out on the town and talk over some drinks. And in Gemini, talk and talk and talk. To review Uranus, in case you haven't been either reading my Substacks or listening to the podcast, if you're new, welcome. So just a little bit of review. He's independence. He's rebellion. He's bucking the status quo. He's unexpected change wherever he goes, and that is almost always the case. But one of the interesting things about him is he is neither benefic, like Venus and Jupiter, nor malefic, like Mars and Saturn. The rebel planet is going to do what he needs to do to shake stuff up. He's bringing change. He's bringing surprise. It's unexpected. It's spontaneous. It's all kind of big. But it's not necessarily good or bad. He'll bring unexpectedly horrible changes, and he'll bring amazing intellectual breakthroughs in art, breakthroughs in relationships with people. He doesn't care so much if it's good or bad. What he wants is change. And the other thing he really, really wants is authenticity. This is the rebel. This is the planet that wants to break out of the walls that are boxing us in. So get ready. And if that makes you a little nervous, I wish I could say there's no reason to be, maybe a little. I'm going to keep this week's episode to how this is going to affect us personally for the most part, okay? There's way too much. This is so big, you guys. This is big. And I'll explain why. Uranus takes 84 years to go around the zodiac. So in each sign, his 7-year stint there, that energy is going to hold for a good long time. So to give you an idea, and again, I'm going to get to the personal stuff really, really quickly, but just to give you an idea of the kinds of things that we can expect through this 7-year period, I would expect sudden breakthroughs in technology and in modes of transportation. Remember the Jetsons cartoon? I know most of you don't remember it. You can Google that or something. But for those of us who do remember it, we have been waiting for our flying cars and our jetpacks for a very long time. And we might just see them coming in the next 7 years, all right? We've been hearing a lot on the news about, if you're in the United States, about defunding the Department of Education, and this might happen. Yeah, it might happen. Remember, you've got to tear down, and I'm not trying to take any political sides here. I'm just saying this is not my opinion. This is the astrology. But with Uranus moving into Gemini has a lot to do with learning. And sometimes to build a whole new innovative approach to something, you've got to tear down the old. Whether you like the way that happens or not is a whole different story. Remember, I said Uranus is kind of neutral about that, okay? So we might see the Department of Education get kind of busted up. But if so, give it a little minute because something new will come in. What Uranus doesn't really do is just tear stuff down and leave it in rubble. It is usually to make way for a new system, a new way, all kinds of scientific breakthroughs. All kinds. Gemini has to do with the intellect and its technology and all of that. So medical breakthroughs, tech breakthroughs for sure. All kinds of scientific progress should be made during this period. Just to give you the less maybe optimistic bit, in the past, Uranus in Gemini was associated with the Revolutionary War. And think about it, right? Revolution, the Revolutionary War, that's Uranus. The Civil War, tearing down a structure to rebuild it better, and World War II, which reconfigured, alliances were broken and formed and all of that kind of stuff. But, there was also war. And I'm going to leave that there. Let's get on to the more personal because this is already going long. So I already talked about the love piece, right? When Uranus first crosses over, he's meeting up with Venus. If you didn't meet a new lover or move into a new phase of your love life when they met in Taurus, I would expect that you would be now. This is a really heavy-duty transit because any planet at that 0 degrees where Uranus is going to be is super active and super wanting to get with the new program. Like, I'm in a new kingdom. I need to do some stuff. So new love could be on the horizon. New phases of your relationship. If you're in existing relationships, you might decide to shake them up, change them up. Could breakups happen? Absolutely. With Venus right there, it's not what I expect to be the norm. But on the other hand, sometimes you got to break up before you're open to that new wild, crazy love that's going to come into your life. And you're like, Kate, no, that's not me. I'm telling you, Uranus brings the unexpected. So yeah, even you people thinking, no, not me, might be you. For my creative people who work in the realm of writing and speaking, and especially anyone who's social media connected and all of that sort of thing, this week should, bring unexpected growth in your creative life. If you've been feeling stuck or unmotivated, like you just don't have ideas for a new project or whatever it is, this is going to bring unexpected breakthroughs creatively that are going to be fantastic. Now, again, you may decide that that book you've been writing, that channel you have on YouTube, whatever it is, that they don't suit you really. You may decide that like, yeah, that used to speak to me, but I really want to do this brand new thing and go in this completely new direction. Yes, you might be throwing out the old manuscript and starting from scratch. The goal is be authentic. Follow your heart on this. Venus is there. Follow your heart and be your wild, wacky, creative, authentic self and make great art. Venus also has to do with money, so expect breakthroughs in finances. Most likely, outside of the box ideas on how to make or invest money. Big new ideas that just seem to come from like out of the blue, or in Gemini, they might come from conversation with other people, right? Where you're like, oh my gosh, I just got this idea for this new business I'm going to launch, or this new product, or this new something that is going to bring money in. So if you're looking for a new job, as long as you're being authentic, as long as you're thinking outside of the box, then you should be applying for those jobs. But in Gemini and with Uranus, there might be self-employment coming. So stay tuned. Now, again, I have to say it. Could you get fired? Could you decide to rage quit very unexpectedly? Absolutely. Absolutely. Unexpected change. And sometimes we've got to have our foundations, our safe places blown up. Think about the wars I mentioned before and think metaphorically, right? Sometimes we have to have our safe spaces blown up so that we are open to thinking creatively and doing something really radically new that we would have never done had we had our safe, day job. And I just did the bunny ears around that. So if you weren't picturing that, picture me doing bunny ears. If you are looking for new work or thinking about, like the old stuff I've been doing, it's just kind of boring to me now, it's worn out. Gemini themes are technology, education, anything social or that involves socializing, communication, and travel. These are Gemini's areas. So if you're thinking about getting a second job, a new job, whatever it is, this may be time to move into one of these areas. If you're already a techie, maybe it's time to teach. If you're not already a techie, maybe it's time to move into some technology realm. Like maybe you've always, I don't know, written and submitted it to traditional publishers. This may be a time that you're going to self-publish in an online forum or something like that. Does that make sense? So those are the areas that you might stay open to and look at. If you're one of those travel people, like you never want to stay home, maybe it's time to like start a business where you are a travel writer, travel blogger. Maybe you organize groups and you're like a tour leader, or maybe organize retreats. There are all kinds of ways to make money traveling, and maybe it's time to do that. So again, it's all just about unexpected change, thinking outside of the box, and being rebellious, okay? So any of these areas that we've talked about, the love, the money, the career, whatever it is, get a little rebellious. You don't have to do what you always thought you had to do. You don't have to, I'm doing the bunny ears again, be practical. Maybe it's time to be the rebel and say, nah, you know what? I'm going to do it my way. Uranus will totally support you in all of that. The big deal is be bold. You got this. Uranus isn't subtle, and you'll do best when working with his energy if you embrace that big, bold energy. Just go there. It'll pay off. And I know this has gone long, so I am going to cut it right here. Expect more. I'm planning a bonus episode hopefully for later this week. If you want to reach out to me, the easiest way to talk to me, if you just want to like chat kind of thing, is in Substack. The comments there are really, really easy and I'll get them right away. But if you want to reach out to me and tell me what you're interested in, do you want to hear about world events and Uranus? Because that's going to be big. Do you want me to go into these amazing aspects that Venus is making? That's big too. So let me know what you want to hear about, and I will do my best to get that out to you. Thank you again. Please keep up the sharing and all of that. If you could pass this podcast on to friends and family and all the people, I'd be super grateful. And that's basically what I've got. So until next week, or the bonus episode, go out and seize the energies of the stars. This is my wish for you always. And until then, bye.